Hello everyone, I'm Gary from Liberty Space, and it is now episode 2 of the most sketchiest rocket test stand ever made. Today we have our metal frame here, right in front of me, and it is derusting day. One of the goals I have for this test stand is to make it not so gross looking. The thing I want to do for that is to remove this top layer of brown rust of the metal off of it, and then I want to put a nice coat of spray paint. I believe I have a color in mind for this project, however I'm not really sure what I'm settled on, but we'll figure it out when we get there. For the meantime, let's go ahead and derust this project. Alright, so for some items of safety I'm going to be using, because I'm anticipating this to be pretty messy. We have a nice respirator here. This will prevent me from breathing in any dust particles and that will be floating in the air, and safety glasses, so that way I don't need to corrupt my vision in any way, even though it's already corrupt. We have some disinfecting wipes. This is actually a technique that I'm thinking will work for this. So these have citrus acid in them by lemons, and what citrus acid does, it actually breaks down rust in small little amounts, probably at the molecular level, but whatever. Then we have some nice rubber gloves, so that way I can handle these disinfecting wipes. And then to handle the metal frame if I need to reposition it or whatnot, and I don't want to cut myself, I have my nice Fox Shocks work gloves. So that's what we're doing. Alright, so we have our disinfecting wipes, got my rubber gloves. The respirator isn't going to be much help for this step, but because all I'm doing is going to wipe this frame down section by section with these wipes and try to remove some rust. And then I might even wrap one around in an area and then let that soak for a few minutes. Not long, but it's a few minutes. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, just gonna be rubbing this thing a little bit, kind of scrubbing in some areas. And we'll be starting on this bar, then we'll go to the legs here next. Okay, now it's time to do the legs here. So we're just gonna take these same ones, scrub it up. Oh, look at that. Look at it. I had no idea that disinfecting wipes would actually work for this, but who knew? This one's about to end its life, then we'll switch over to the other one. Okay, I think life is ended. Time for the next one. So rusty, so very rusty, man. Alright, get rid of that one. Okay, I'll go grab some power tools and we will just saw the crap out of this thing. The next step for the one side that we're derusting is now to use some power tools. Alright, so we're going to be using this drill here. Not going to mention the name, I'm pretty sure it's obvious though. We're going to be using this on a, oh, I don't know, it's like a wire brush. It's in a disc. And then over here, I have my nice Dremel, and it's got a nice sanding bit on it. Kind of like heavy sandpaper, but confined into a little wheel. So yeah, that's what we're going to be using to derust this thing. The respirator is going to help me from not breathing in the dust particles from the rust. Nice little rhyme there. And we'll get started. Alright, so let's go ahead and do a little progress check of our work here. So top bar, we took the disinfectant wipe, kind of wrapped it around it, let it soak. Then we took this and brushed it off, and it didn't do much for the top. However, you can kind of see some tiny bit of the metal. That's what we're trying to get down to, make this thing shiny again. And then down here, you can see it actually really gave it a new coat. It really removed that whole top layer. It's still there, but that's what the next tool is gonna help remove. So yeah, we'll just get working on this leg now and see what we can do there. Okay, so the next step is we now take this Dremel right here, lovely power tool with a sanding bit on it. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go everywhere where we did the wire brush, we're gonna use the Dremel. And this is really gonna strip it down to where we actually start to see metal. When we start to see metal, it might fling off some sparks, but that's natural. Don't get scared. So here we go. Sport! Okay, so I've so far changed 2 things or techniques for doing this rust removal. And so the first item that I'm going to be changing is, instead of the disinfectant wipes, I went ahead and got some rust removal stuff. This stuff should be handy enough in the dissolving and breaking up the rust particles. The only catch is you gotta let it sit for a little bit before you actually scrub it off. The next tool I have changed to earlier with, and actually made a lot of progress with, is this nice power sander. This power sander has removed a lot of rust from this side here, and you can actually see the metal again. So it's quite good. Alright, so to finish up the rusting job, as you just saw, we're going to go ahead and now paint it. So this is now cleared enough from the rust that we can actually put a layer of paint on it and see how it cures. Once that cures, we can do a second layer and then let that entire thing cure, and then this thing will look shiny and complete. So take a good look at it now and all of its gross kind of attire. Alright guys, so quick update here. As you can see, the test stand is all painted up nicely and is complete. Be sure to tune in for the next video. We'll be doing a quick 3D printing aspect video of how we're going to be securing these rocket motors to the 2x4s. That video will be coming up shortly, and then after that we'll have a static fire, the first static fire on this test stand out in the desert next weekend. So be sure to tune in. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm Gary, and I'm out of here.